How many screens are you opening?
We're only going to open on maybe 3,500, maybe 4,000 at the most.
Only 35.
What do you mean only? I thought it used to be 2,000 was a big deal.
Godzilla was like in 7,000 screens.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the big number now. And everybody expected us to go out on 10,000 screens. I mean, everybody said, "You're going on 10,000 screens, aren't you?" I said, "No." I said, we want to be in quality theaters. We want to have a quality presentation. I want people to see this in good conditions. I'm not interested in just throwing it out there and getting all these records in the first week.
It's not over yet.
It is for me, sister. Look, I ain't in this for your revolution, and I'm not in it for you, princess. I expect to be well paid. I'm in it for the money.
You needn't worry about your reward. If money is all that you love, then that's what you'll receive.
Lucas is now able to control which cinemas get to show his movie. Back in 1977, the story was somewhat different.
I care.
Releasing the film was a problem. The film opened in some 40 theaters. Now, that has to be seen in the context that a very big major release in the late 1970s would be 600 to 800 screens in the United States. The truth is we couldn't book it anymore. The exhibitors didn't want it. They didn't understand it. They were worried about the same things, war in the title. Will people understand it? There's no stars. Why will people come to see it?
It wasn't in a lot of theaters, but every theater, the 9:30 a.m. shows were sold out to a seat. You couldn't get into any of the 9:30 a.m. shows. You know, that's good when that happens. That's a good signal. And George was euphoric when he got that news.
Yeah, Oscar.
Yes, I bet you have.
The success of the film was due to more than just its groundbreaking effects.
Star Wars was different from other films of its ilk. And it became very popular, I think, because of the same reasons that kids love Westerns. The Western has to do with good and evil, very clearly defined. It has to do with the outdoors, with wide open space. You're not restricted by walls of a city. You're out there.
The Western was the last mythological format that had been developed in this country. You know, and it pretty much died by the 60s. So I wanted to try to see if I could resurrect that.
Sand people, worse. Come on, let's go have a look. Come on. Well, there are two banthas down there, but I don't see any... Wait a second. They're sand people, all right. I can see one of them now.
On these cliffs at Sidi Bou Halal are the remains of a Berber city that's now reduced to nothing more than rocks and broken pottery. This location also served as a site for a number of scenes in the first Star Wars film. The canyon represents the wilderness, a classic gateway to the mythic hero's journey that Luke's own adventure will mirror. He must survive an encounter with the guardians of the gates, the Tusken Raiders, before he can continue on his quest.
They're set in the future, but they've got a feeling that they're in the past. And they're very solidly based in kind of legends or fairy tales with the characters are very... You've got the young, naive prince, the beautiful princess, the jester, if you like, with Han Solo, and the wizard with Obi-Wan Kenobi. You've kind of got the bad, good and evil, and it's kind of it's fairy tales. It's become a kind of modern fairy tale, really.
I request the boy be tested, Master.
Oh, trained as a Jedi, you request for him,
Finding him was the will of the Force. I have no doubt of that.
Some people have told me that it's kind of a religion, and that was interesting to me because you see all the religious aspects in it when you watch the films. It's not any direct sort of preaching, but you do kind of see where it has mythical and religious implications.
The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
You know, the idea that there's a force guiding us and that there's a destiny and a fate, and I think that's really what appeals to people, because it's something that gives them a sort of meaning and hope, I guess.
Star Wars owes much to the works of Joseph Campbell, a writer who drew together folk stories from across the world, identifying a common theme, which he called the hero's journey. This follows a young man, forced away from his homeland and sent on a mission which is both important and enlightening. On the way, he encounters wizards, princesses, and monsters, before descending into a labyrinth to secure a final victory.
I was going along in my own story. I was trying to, write whatever I felt. And then I would go back, once I've written a script, I would go back and sort of check it against the classic models of the hero's journey and that sort of thing to see if I had gone off the deep end. And simply by following my own inspiration, the thing that intrigued me the most is that it was very close to the model.
This is the town of Matmata. It was here the interiors of Luke Skywalker's home were filmed. In this hotel, the City Driss. The door here leads only down because the entire hotel is underground.
Luke, tell Uncle if he gets a translator, be sure it speaks Vachi.
Doesn't look like we have much of a choice, but I'll remind him.
It was in this very alcove that Luke Skywalker sat 23 years ago, having a frustrated conversation with his Uncle Owen over dinner. Parts of the set are still here. The edging on this door frame, the painting overhead haven't changed at all. Domestic scenes, like the one around the dining room table, ground Star Wars in the rituals of everyday life, in contrast to the film's heroics and space battles. Luke's journey begins here. It's from this room that he'll go out to watch the last sunset he'll ever see before he's forced on his path to destiny.
There is that journey that everyone takes from innocence, through worldliness, and hopefully back to some kind of innocence. And that's exactly what the saga is about. And myths are just ways for us to get at that story. And, that story mirrors an individual's progression in life.